In this video, I'm giving you my complete full tutorial on Jasper.ai. I've been using these writing AI tools for a long time at this point. I've generated over 300,000 words, and I'm stoked to share everything I've learned with you. Psst, 2 little secrets. Number 1, I have jump links in the description below this video where you can click to jump to what you want to learn about because it's a longer tutorial video. Also, psst, another thing, I have a separate YouTube video reviewing Jasper. Who's it for? Is it actually worth paying for? I have thoughts there. I'll link to that video as well. Psst, one more super secret. If you want a free trial for Jasper and 10,000 word credits, use my affiliate link. It's down in the description below. I won't tell anybody. It's there. Go check it out. First up, what precisely is Jasper.ai? Here's the short version. Jasper.ai is some software on the internet that helps you use a tool called GPT-3. Super fancy pants AI software that collects a bunch of data from the internet. It's literally like 10% of the entire internet. You give it some instructions, it analyzes that data from the internet, reads your instructions on what to produce, and then the AI produces content for you. That's what GPT-3 is. Jasper is a way to use that GPT-3 AI for blog posts, different copywriting templates, a bunch of content stuff. It helps you make sense of AI for very specific content use cases. Jasper allows you an easier way to access the AI and give it instructions. Write some blog post titles for Jasper tutorial. This is what Jasper does. You give it instructions, it allows you to access the AI and gives you responses. And has a bunch of different ways to access the AI, if that makes any sense. There are a bunch of different types of content you can do with Jasper, which we'll get into in a second. Quick tour of Jasper. Here's my dashboard, just logged in. My billing cycle actually just reset, so I have lots of credits for you guys. You can click down here to access the settings and see your usage. This is what I see the most. Again, my cycle just reset 2 days ago, it looks like. You can also add team members, unlimited team members on any plan, I do believe. And moving right along, the project area is one of my favorite things about this. It's like separate folders where you can store different documents from the long form editor, as well as copywriting that Jasper's created. You can save those to different projects. You can have as many as you want. I have several different ones, including Do Even Blog, my personal one. You can see these are all of the documents I have in this project, etc., etc. Now, only other thing you really need to understand here is templates and recipes and documents. Yeah, I never ever look at these AI outputs because I never ever save them personally. If you save a lot of outputs, you could save them here. Templates, we'll talk about in a second, but that's where you find those. Recipes, we'll also talk about a little bit later. And of course, your long form documents, we will talk about later as well. Now, on with the tutorial. First up would be Jasper's templates. Templates, and they even say so right here, are the building blocks for short form content, first and foremost. They have a bunch of different templates for, a bajillion things, right? Quora answers, business names, testimonials, persuasive bullet points, blog post outlines, you name it. Basically how this works is you choose what you want Jasper to create. Let's go with a blog post outline. It's going to prompt you for some inputs. All of these templates will prompt you for some inputs. So as a demo, we'll go with Jasper AI tutorial, how to write content faster. And for tone of voice, you can do a bunch of different things here. I like to do generally expert or fun. Let's do fun. Let's see what that does. You can control how many outputs you would like Jasper to spit out right here. And then you click Generate AI Content. As this is working, it'll probably take about 5 to 10 seconds-ish. I will note that all of Jasper's templates will actually do the same process. It'll prompt you for some inputs, depending on what template you're using, and it'll spit you back some outputs, which you can copy to your clipboard to paste elsewhere. You can add to your favorites, which will appear over here in your AI outputs. And, or you could click here to edit directly. I never do that. I usually just copy and post right here. And you can always regenerate more outputs if you want. You can clear your inputs with this button. And that's pretty much it. Let's actually do one more Facebook ads. So templates are available on the starter plan for Jasper. It's mostly for short form content, not long form blog posts, excuse me. All right, so I have a product called 1 Hour Blog Post. I just whipped this out, super boring product description. Tone of voice, let's go with expert, just for fun. I'm gonna do 3 outputs, hit generate AI content, and it will produce me some primary ad text. Again, if I were doing ads, I would probably star the ones I want. I would probably do this like a couple more times to get like 4 or 5. Looking to create content faster and easier? 1 Hour Blog Post is the perfect tool for you. Our templates are designed to yada, yada, yada. Templates, available on all Jasper plans. Short form content. You choose what type of content you want to create. It will prompt you for some inputs. You can generate as many outputs as you want to. You can favorite them and edit them right from here, or you can copy and paste to put into Google Doc or straight into a blog post or Facebook ad or whatever you want to use it for. They're really straightforward, easy to use. That's all I got. Next up, the long form editor. This is only available on the Jasper Boss Mode plan, starting at $59 a month. But if you create long form content, blog post, it's totally worth it, in my opinion. So let's actually start off with a little quick tour. You can access all your previous documents by clicking Documents. You can create a new one from here or by clicking up here. They have a little blog post workflow, which will help you generate titles and an outline, and an intro paragraph rather, not an outline. I'm actually not going to do that. You don't need to do this for a blog post. I'm actually just going to create one from scratch so I can show you around. Start from scratch. It's going to open up. Obviously, this is where you will write. And it's actually a really great editor. Bullet points, bold, italics, headers, images, links, the whole 9 yards. It actually works pretty well. Now, 4 areas of note. I copied and pasted a blog post in here just so I could show you. This is the editor. That's number 1. Number 2, a little toolbar up here. Number 3, accessing SEO and power mode. It'll pull open additional sidebars over here. But in focus mode, number 4 is where you have your title and content brief. And you can use the Jasper Compose function, which we'll talk about in a second. Let's start with the focus mode sidebar, what you're looking at right over here. To begin writing, again, this is the total basics. I would probably start with a title of your blog post to the long form article or whatever. How to use Jasper.ai. Let's just copy this and put it in title for now. Now, the content brief is generally a little paragraph that just tells Jasper, this won't actually be included in your blog post, what the article is about. Now, there's 2 different ways you could do this. Number 1, you could just write a couple of sentences right here yourself, or you can actually let Jasper try and come up with one like this. This is going to be using a command. Write a content brief for the headline above. Let's actually just make this an H1 for now. You can always change that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit Command Enter or Control Enter, and that executes a Jasper command. Commands are only available in boss mode, and they're basically just instructions. By the way, Jasper has a really great article, boss mode commands. They'll enter, boss mode commands. They have a nice help article with a bunch of examples. Write a blog post about, write an intro about, write a pros and cons list, write a paragraph about, rephrase the content above, give me some facts, FAQs for, there's a ton of interesting Jasper commands. You can go check those out. So I told it to write a content brief, and it did. Write a content piece about how businesses can use Jasper to improve their customer service. I would do, let's do blog content. As part of help businesses automate, let's do this. And I'm going to hit compose down here just to finish this little thought out. That can help businesses automate their content production, and I'm just going to hit compose. Command J or Control J is the shortcut for compose. Save time and money on content production while improving the quality of their content. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to cut that and paste it in here. Now that we have this, we can start using the compose function to create content in Jasper. I never do this, but I wanted to show it to you because a bunch of people do. You can include keywords here if you want to. How about Jasper.ai? Tone of voice, let's do Will Ferrell. Output length, let's do medium, and then just hit compose. It's not gonna write anything good, but I'm just gonna show you that you give Jasper some inputs, what the content is about, you position your cursor wherever you want to, and you hit compose, and it will start writing. Now, Jasper.ai is a powerful artificial intelligence. This is absolutely terrible, But keep watching this video. I'm gonna show you why this is terrible and B, how to improve it. But before I do that, I have to show you one or two other features in the long form editor. You have to understand this first. So this is just kind of like some guiding principles. And by the way, you can always toggle this on or off if you'd like to hide this information from Jasper. In fact, I never ever put this in here. I'm actually just gonna delete it. I never use this, but you can turn it off, turn it on down here. I'm gonna actually turn this off as well. Now, that is that sidebar over here. You've kind of seen it in action. I wanna tell you about Power Mode. Power Mode gives you those templates that we talked about earlier, access to those right here in the long form editor. Now, what's a great one to use for this article right here? How about the content outline, blog post outline? I am going to copy this. This is actually a terrible title, by the way. How to use Jasper.ai to write blog posts. There you go. That's a little bit more specific. And I'm actually going to copy that, put that in there. There we go. Blog post outline, fun. There's my title, and I'm just going to do 2 outputs to save time and word credits for my account. I'm gonna hit generate AI content. So it spit out a blog post outline. I can copy this, come right over to my post and paste it right there. I would probably add 1 or 2 of my own talking points in here. I would rarely ever just use what they give me, but this is where I like to do a lot of my content, especially starting a long form editor. Let's do one more example, the paragraph generator. Also, the intro paragraph was a really great one, but let's actually just do a command here. How about this? Write an intro paragraph for the blog post above. Hit Command Enter or Control Enter, and let's just see what it comes up with. If you're looking for an easy way to improve your blog post, look no further than Jasper.ai. Blah, 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 blah. Here's how to use Jasper to your advantage. That's not bad. Actually, I mean, it's not great, but it gives you a nice little starting point right there. Considering I didn't do much else to this right here, it's actually pretty strong. Time for a secret pro tip. Take any outlines or talking points or bullet points that you already have about your article and copy and paste those at the top before your H1 thing here. So this outline right here, I'm actually gonna delete it and I am going to paste it up in here. I don't know why that did that. There we go. And I'm just gonna leave it here for Jasper to refer back to. You see, the boss mode in the long form editor has a content look back up to 2,000 or 3,000 words. I can't remember what it is. Basically, Jasper looks back at the content you've already created to use as an example for the content that it creates, right? The important point here is to edit your content that Jasper spits out as you go along. Constantly be editing it and deleting it as you go. This will actually make Jasper smarter. It will adapt to your tone, your formatting, your style of writing, the facts and data and opinions that you put in the editor. It reads all that stuff to make the AI outputs better. So yes, that's why I put this information above an H1 tag whenever I'm doing a blog post. Okay, so that was pretty much it. The Power Mode gives you access to some of these useful templates that you can just copy and paste basically into your blog post. Specifically at the beginning, like I said, the blog post outline, the intro paragraph, and then maybe I use the paragraph generator quite a bit to make paragraphs. For example, what is Jasper AI and how does it work? So again, I'm moving super fast. This is gonna be really ugly and it's not gonna work that well, but I'll do it anyways. Simple, okay, that's cool. Generate AI content. I'm gonna just see what it comes up with for a paragraph based on what is Jasper AI and how does it work. Jasper's an AI software company, automate customer service tasks. Okay, so that's not actually true. Jasper's an AI thing, it's a computer program and mimic human conversations. This is not actually that true either. This is an important point. It's an AI tool. It's not actually human. It doesn't know what you want it to say unless you give it really clear instructions. Now watch this. All right, all I added was one more sentence, basically saying what Jarvis is. No formatting, no nothing. I'm actually gonna generate this output again and see if the results are better. You have to give Jasper instructions. The AI is a computer. It doesn't know what you want it to say unless you tell it. So if you're unhappy with the outputs that Jasper gives, go back to your inputs and just add a couple of words or even like a sentence. It's still gonna save you time in the long run and your output will be so much better. All right, so this one is far better. I would actually just copy this and then paste it right in here. and then edit. I would usually come in here and do line breaks because I don't like big paragraphs like this. It's up to you. And since Jasper is powered by AI, it will continue to learn about these topics and get better at suggesting it over time. Here are the pros and cons. Write a pros and cons list for using Jasper AI for blogging. Command enter, control enter. Pros, faster content generation, blah, blah, blah. Cons, may not be suitable for all types of writing, not always accurate with suggestions. So right here, you just saw the use of another Jasper command. You'll be seeing me do a lot of those. Next, I want to show you the SEO mode. This is a direct integration with Surfer SEO, which is a separate paid product. And I won't talk about Surfer so much, but I will actually open up one that I've done recently, which is Jasper.ai recipes. I use Jasper to do this blog post right here. You can actually click SEO mode at the top and it will whip open your Surfer SEO account. You have to connect it. You can really easily do that in settings. This one already popped up because I was working on it earlier, but it'll say choose your piece of content, whatever it is in Surfer. And this will whip up right here and it will update as you type. If you don't know what Surfer SEO is, it just helps you optimize blog posts for SEO. I actually really like it. I don't try and get 100% because I think that's totally dumb and it's stupid and that's not the best content for Google, but it's still some great general guidelines and it's built right into Jasper.ai. So I'm not going to teach you how to use Surfer in this video, but just know it's actually pretty great. If you do SEO content, you click this button to open it, you will connect Surfer in your Jasper account, I believe. I think you go down here. Yep, you go down here, you turn this on, and it will ask you to log in to Surfer SEO, and then you can come back and access all of that goody two-shoes features right here in SEO mode. Now, just a few more things I want to show you in this video, like Jasper's recipes, which are absolutely incredible, as well as using the plagiarism checker, Copyscape, and stuff like that here in a second. But I will also point you to the next video here on YouTube in this series, where I'm going to be walking you through my more advanced tips and tricks to actually make Jasper work really well. You saw my outputs a couple of minutes ago. They weren't great. And yeah, you could spend more time learning the software, which you're going to have to do anyways, but go check out this other video and I will share with you 9 or 10 a little bit more advanced tips and tricks to get the software to work really well. It's going to save you a lot of time and energy figuring out how to make it work over the long run. So go watch that video and it'll make things a lot easier and give you better content. Just one more area of the long form editor that you need to be aware of, this little toolbar right here. This is where you access your Grammarly integration, a plagiarism checker, which is actually really cool, as well as some other nifty things here. So I'm actually going to highlight this paragraph and hit rephrase. Hopefully it works. There you go. It'll actually try and rephrase the sentence or paragraph. Don't select 1,000 words to do this. Just select 1 or 2 sentences at a time. You will see better results. You can copy, you can try again, you can cancel, or you can hit replace text and it will swap in that text right there. Another one is fix grammar. I've never ever used this only because I use Grammarly anyways. I've just used Grammarly for years. I opened Jasper and it just worked. I didn't have to do anything. It just worked. But you can click that if you would like to disable Grammarly. Again, I've never used that. I've never used the fix grammar either, but there you go. It's a tool to fix your grammar. Last one is explain it to a 5th grader. I really like this. You can actually do that. I'm going to explain it to a 5th grader. It will attempt to make things simpler and easier to read. Easier language, easier words, that sort of stuff. I usually create my outline in Talking Minutes before I use Jasper, period. Instead of a comma, and it kind of broke this up into smaller chunks. It can be handy if you're taking advanced concepts and you really want to make your content easy to read, you might play around with that. All right, so the plagiarism, I can't say that word, plagiarism, whatever. You will have to load it. It does cost additional money, by the way. I sent $10 in, and each article that's 1,500 to 2,000 words long, it cost me less than 20 cents. So I still have $11.74 left on my balance right here. But just know this uses a separate tool, not Jasper, which I actually really like, by the way. I wouldn't want the same AI tool to do plagiarism checks. I want my third-party tool, Copyscape. You can see roughly how much it's going to cost. I'm going to hit scan document, and it'll pull back, nothing. Okay, no plagiarism found in your content. If it did find some, it would show it right here and also show you the article on the internet, like the link on the internet to where it's from. So you could fix this content, and then if you want, you can run it again, or you could just fix the content, do some rephrasing, do some rewriting, etc. But I've actually never had a whole lot of plagiarism come back. Some people have, and to those people, I don't think you're editing enough. Use the Jasper AI outputs, but then do a little bit of light editing to your style and tone and formatting. You won't have to worry about the plagiarism check at all, probably. All right, it's time to talk about Jasper recipes. One of my favorite things about this entire platform. So what are recipes? They're templates. I know it's confusing. Templates in Jasper are like the short form, specific use case templates. Recipes are basically just templates, except for the long form editor. And not only are they made by Jasper, but you can create your own reusable Jasper recipes. So let's see it in action right here. Head to recipes in your dashboard. Here are a few of the ones I've been trying out lately. Jasper actually has a few down here, blog posts, really simple ones that they created. I don't actually think they're the best, but they're worth looking at just to show you what they are. Here is the blog post recipe. Now, here's what the content is. There's a YouTube video description up here. The recipe content, you'll see two things. Number one, variables. That's in these little curly brackets. Write a brief topic about your topic. Write a brief for topic. Obviously, you fill in the topic with your topic, the keywords, etc. Write about outline item number one, outline item number two. These are going to be different, unique for each piece of content you run with the recipe. So, speaking of running, oh, by the way, wait, I almost forgot. These little dashes right here are Jasper commands. You've already seen a bunch of these commands in action when I talked about the long form editor. That's basically all a recipe is. It is a reusable template for the long form editor with variables and commands to use those variables. Now let's actually run this one. That's going to create a new document from scratch with this recipe. So you fill in the variables, write a brief for how to use Jasper AI to blog faster. And again, this is a command as noted by the little bracket there. So I'm gonna do the command enter, control enter, and it's gonna write a content brief. All right, write a brief on, there we go, how to use. I'm actually gonna cut this and put it in the content brief. Write blog title ideas. Now that I have that brief, I'll do compose, or not compose, excuse me, command enter. Here is my, my outline. It's kind of lame. I would probably change it and add to it and edit it, but there you go. So let's do the title here. Write some title ideas for the outline above. This one's good right here. Let's make that an H1 and copy it into the title just for fun. Next up in this recipe is write an introduction. You just hit Command Enter to run these commands. You'll want to edit. You'll want to fill in using the compose function or the paragraph generator, or just write a little bit yourself to try and give Jasper more information to work with. But then you just keep going. Oh, I actually had a blog outline. I missed it. I didn't even do that one right there. Write about, and here is the bullet point number one, outline item number one. I'll just copy that in there and hit Command Enter, Control Enter to use this. And that is how you use recipes. You fill in the variables, and then you just run the commands, and then you fill it in. Simple enough. But where's the real power in this? This is kind of a lame recipe. Sorry, Jasper. You can create and save your own. I'm gonna go back and show you one of the ones I've been developing. I have a bunch of blogging templates that I've been using for years, and I've recently started adapting these for Jasper. Let's do the 1 hour review post is actually the one that's public. You can actually save this recipe right now. It's public. The link is in the description below. And actually, before I show you that, I will mention that I have a whole separate video here on YouTube showing you some different recipes and going in deeper on how to use them. Some more advanced stuff. Go check out that video. I'll actually recommend a bunch of recipes, which are free, by the way. You can just click to save them to your account, and then you can run them at any time. So this is a recipe I made, and you'll see some the variables in here as denoted by the bracket syntax, if you will. I also have just random notes, This is just how I like to do things. So this ASDF are just like my notes. This is a placeholder shortcut for me. And then I have the commands with the little brackets down here. Write, explain in detail what product does, and give background about brand name. My variables up here that I always put in first, and then I just go through top to bottom, filling in the variables and then running the commands. And that's it. And if you want to create your own recipes, you can click New Recipe up here. You will enter in the title and description, and this is where you'll write the commands and using variables, right? And they actually have some helper text right here on the syntax, just in case you forgot, but it's super simple. If you have a YouTube explainer video, you can put it in here. These are private by default, but you can actually come back and share them. Oh, I see it. Share. Right there. There you go. You can make it public, private, or you can publish it and make it indexable by Jasper and search engines, etc., etc. Once you've created some, you can always go back and edit later, by the way. Let's run a 1-hour review post. Creates a new, fresh document here. These notes are for other people who use this, but I'm just delete that stuff now. I can do this right here. Fill in my variables for whatever I'm reviewing. Let's say Cloudways hosting, and I write some facts about Cloudways hosting. Sometimes I just delete these, but you could also put them in right here. Product features, my opinions, some product alternatives, call to action, overall sentiment, positive or negative. I stole that one from Corey, who writes on YouTube. She's great. She talks a lot about Jasper. You should go follow her. Final result, and then I begin my content with more commands. Write a list of title ideas, boom. Choose one you like, make it an H1, and then delete the rest. Then go through your intro, and then the product overview, just notes I've made for myself, and then the variables, and then the commands. That's all recipes are, but I love them so much. So, how to get really good at using Jasper. Number one, go through the official Jasper bootcamp. I'll leave a link in the description. It's pretty short-ish. Number two, check out the other YouTube videos here in this YouTube series where I'll show you more, my advanced tips and tricks. It's the next video. And then I'll show you some more Jasper recipes in action and let you download some in the video after that. And also, you should probably go join their Facebook group. It's actually really active, and there's a bunch of people giving useful advice and recipes and all sorts of cool wins in their Facebook group. So go watch the next video for advanced tips and tricks, and use my link below if you would like to try Jasper out for free, and also get some 10,000 word credits that you can use to give it a try. That's all I got. I'll see you in the advanced video. Adios.